Welcome to News and Views. I'm Danae Jones and it's my pleasure to bring you this week's segment. Today we're at Riley, a Crystalbrook Collection resort in Cairns. Riley has recently opened its doors and is the first new 5-star hotel to be built in Cairns in over 20 years. At Riley, rediscover fun, live in the moment and indulge in the little luxuries. Leave your worries at check-in and stake your claim by the pool. Riley is beautifully chic yet sustainably modern, with 3 restaurants, the city's first rooftop waterfront bar at Rocco, and a day spa, Alamay, to help you escape from the daily grind. Today we are talking to Major Ben Johnson and Lieutenant Colonel David Godkin from the Salvation Army. The Salvos are always there in times of need in our local community, and often the work they do goes unnoticed, and they don't seek praise or applause for the work they do. They just get in and do what needs to be done to support those in need when they need it most. Every year, they take part in a community-driven fundraiser, the Red Shield Appeal, to not only raise funds for the charity so they can carry out their work, but to also raise awareness of the services they offer in the community. Welcome to News and Views.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Major Ben and Lieutenant Colonel David Godkin, all the way from Brisbane. We're very lucky to have you here.
Lovely to be up in Cairns.
Of course, and here to launch the Red Shield Appeal. Yeah?
Yes.
So this year, obviously, Red Shield Appeal you do every year in the month of May, but this year in our local community, you're trying to raise a set target for the people here and those that you service.
Yeah, so this year's appeal is a little bit different. Salvation Army's gone through a restructure, so we're now a national Salvation Army now. So our national target is $79 million.
Wow.
But for Queensland, whatever we raise here in Queensland gets to stay in Queensland.
That's good news.
There is great need in Queensland, and of course of that national target, a lot of that will come back to Queensland, and priority will be given to the highest needs here in Queensland.
Now, Major Ben, you've been working in this community for a while now, and you're seeing the local need on a day-to-day basis. And you know, those numbers that Lieutenant Colonel David Godkin refers to are extraordinary in the types of money that you need to service that need out there, because there are so many people doing it so tough, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're beneficiaries of over $500,000 coming into Cairns to service the different expressions that we have here in Cairns, and so you know, we rely very heavily on the funds raised by this national appeal.
Yeah. Now, what takes place as part of Red Shield Appeal? You do a business launch, but you also do a community-driven fundraiser. Can you explain to our viewers if they haven't been part of it before?
Sure. Yeah. So our business launch is usually held at the Pullman Hotel Reef Casino, and we invite government, business houses, people of influence around town to come and hear about what we do and our ministry focus, and that's always well attended. But we also have our door knock aspect, and we ask all sorts of community groups, individuals, families, whoever we can get on board to come and door knock our local area, and to just be a visible presence in the community, so we can collect from people that are really usually happy to see us and are very willing to give.
Well, I know when I've door knocked over the years, there's not too many households that will turn you away when you say you're there to collect for the Salvos. It's quite extraordinary, the generosity that the community gives you out there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we also find that you know, people that are receiving assistance from us are usually the first to give. They have been helped at a time of crisis, or at a time where they're really struggling, and yeah, they're the first people to dive into their pockets. If they've got something, they'll give. That's really a wonderful thing to see.
It is, and I know when you say that, I've personally experienced that, being in what they would consider to be a low socio-economic suburb per se, actually generating more money in our collection versus some of the wealthier suburbs, which I found quite mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think it's, I guess, a thing where people are really identifying that community is important, and particularly those who have been in a cycle of crisis or have struggled financially over a long period of time. They're very aware of the need to be able to support one another, and so we often see a lot of those people not only just giving to our work, but getting involved in the appeal or getting involved in our family stores. And it's a really special thing when you see our community working together for the solution.
And I guess the message that you've always said is that they don't actually have to give money. They could just give of their time, can't they?
Yes, of course they can, because it's a community appeal, and especially with the door knock appeal, we need people who are able to be fit and active to go, and we give them a receipt book, we give them a little bag, we give them a map and a little area, usually around about 35, 40 houses, which takes about 2 hours on a Sunday morning in their local area. It's not too hard to do, and some people love to do it as a family or groups of friends, and sometimes we get a lot of school children volunteering to do it. So it's quite an exciting sort of community activity to do together. So not only the giving of financial donations to the Salvation Army, but being able to give of their time to help to collect the money too is very helpful to the Salvation Army.
Absolutely, and I think even businesses, they could do it as a team bonding exercise and really bring their teams together to go out in the community, couldn't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, we try and orchestrate a bit of competition between business houses given the opportunity. So,
of course, why not?
Yeah, they should be challenging one another to see what they can do as a team.
Absolutely. Now locally, what is your target for the Red Shield appeal this year?
It's in the vicinity of about $85,000 for the area, which is like the Cairns region. We obviously will get as much as we can and engage as many people as we can towards that end.
The interesting thing I've found in speaking to you both over the time is that while your target might be, say, $85,000, really this community is receiving at least $500,000 and some from the Salvation Army with the support that you give. So there's nowhere near raised in terms of what is needed, is there?
Yeah, that's true. We also do have, donors that give throughout the year in the region as well, and so that's, that can be outside that figure, depending on the way people give. But there's always options to give throughout the year on our websites and that sort of thing as well.
And the Christmas appeal is something that you're all very big on as well?
Yep. Yeah. In Cairns, we had a wonderful response from the community. We had. I think it was 350 hampers across Cairns and Innisfail this year, and over 500 toy hampers.
Wow.
So that's a lot of food, a lot of toys, and all given by community, this local community. And so we're so very grateful for so many of these organisations and individuals, families, businesses that have come on board to support us.
It's overwhelming, really, the generosity of this community, not only at Christmas time, but even this time of year when we do the Red Shield appeal. People they continue to dig deep and just give, And then on top of that, you have things like, just down the road, Townsville, you had the floods and that. So northwest Queensland, all the floods out there too. People just over and above just continue to support the work of the Salvation Army. So we're incredibly grateful. We could never do what we do without the support and help of the local community.
It's extraordinary, the work that you do, so it's no wonder that people give so generously. Can you explain to us Centennial Lodge, which your wife, Major Emma, runs? What is actually happening with the redevelopment of that facility?
Yeah. So the facility has been there for quite a while, and as buildings do, they get a bit tired, and so we're really looking at refreshing the buildings and creating some really lovely community spaces. Things like conversation and small group work is really important in this kind of service, and so we want to, I guess, show value to those interactions, and so it's not just about providing a tidy, clean room, but providing a service that engages people on those deeper levels so that they can find a sense of well-being and of purpose, and that there are people on their side and that are willing to go into bat for them.
And you were saying too that the model that you are now using is more of a case-based model where you're not just having people leave the lodge and fend for themselves, if you like, when they go out into community, but you're helping them through that process to try and break that cycle for them.
Yeah. There's a wonderful team at work at the lodge, and they're doing some really innovative things. And I guess one of the main focuses of the program there is to help the residents there identify the blockages to their sustaining tenancy or sustaining housing, and working on those. And as they address those, if others arise, then they'll address that, so that when they do identify a place to live, they can go in there with confidence that they have the tools and the methods in place to sustain that long term. And we're seeing some great results, I think it's around the 90% of people that are leaving that facility are actually going into sustainable housing, which is just a wonderful outcome.
They're great statistics. Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure sitting down and chatting with you two gentlemen, and we wish you every success with the Red Shield Appeal this year. And thank you for coming from Brisbane all the way to Cairns to launch it.
Pleasure.
Everyone loves having the Lieutenant Colonel because, you know, he's the top dog in Queensland, so it's good to have you here.
It's great to be here. Yeah.
And we hope to see you again soon.
Great. Thank you, Danae.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So there you have it, folks. Major Ben Johnson and Lieutenant Colonel David Godkin here from the Salvation Army launching the Red Shield Appeal in your local community. That's all we have for you this week. We'll see you next week.